What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Wrestling Informer, show number 10. I'm Cab Manning. I do the Lingus Mafia podcast. As you well know, I am along with your Wrestling Informer. That is Mr. Billy Body.
Hi.
What's happening, Billy? What's going on this week? We got a lot of news to get to, but what else is happening?
Well, the show's late, so obviously you guys know when this show is going to be out. And when you look at the comments, you'd think nobody would care. But actually, we got inundated with comments asking about where the show was, so we decided to do it late. The background behind that situation was I actually told the Keep It 100 guys, I ain't doing this anymore. I see the comments, and the comments don't faze me, as you know. I've been on a show watched by 8-10 million people, been in a public eye for a long time. But the difference is my kid is getting to an age where he's on YouTube all the time and he's checking out what I do. And he questions me about the comments. Now, the understanding isn't there that the kind of people that troll on YouTube are going to be fat, bald, ugly, poor, don't have anything else to do, don't have friends, don't have girlfriends. This kind of boxed-in demographic are going to be the people that have the time to troll on YouTube. And I actually was going to leave this as a flat-out, you don't respect me, I don't respect you. That's it. That's the end of the situation. That's fine. But the fact is that I got to come on here every single week, and the narrative has become with people coming in here to see the comments, which is stupid and disrespectful, because especially when you have particular comments in there where it says the show starts here at this minute. Now, they particularly annoy me because it ruins our plugs and it's disrespectful to us. The show starts the minute we press record. We are an established podcast coming over from the Dirty Sheets with thousands of listeners. We were asked to come on this show by Conan. So when you be disrespectful and you say these things, you're disrespecting the choices and the tastes of Conan. I didn't ask to come on here. I was established on the Dirty Sheets and I was working with Vince Russo. And when there was a disagreement between me and Vince, the people at Keep It 100 decided that they wanted this show. I wasn't shopping the show around. I don't need to cover pro wrestling. As I said before, I told you where my sources come from. We're already going to make money from covering pro wrestling via Patreon and by having the pay-per-view results that we can sell onto our betting clients. So it's just a bonus to have these extra bits of information that we can use to take the mick out of the dirt sheets. For me, this is all trolling anyway. I'm here to troll these idiots who are incorrect with their information, and I feel, personally, are ruining the wrestling business. The opinions of Ryan Satin, Dave Meltzer, Andrew Zarian, Mike Johnson, who have I missed out? Sean Ross Sapp. These people and the type of wrestling that they want to see and the snowflakery that they endorse is what's ruining the wrestling business. Because anytime you see any kind of hot angle or any kind of controversy, or when you're seeing that they're using Britt Baker in the angle where they're saying that CM Punk wants to sleep with her, you see these guys going, oh, that line wasn't necessary, and oh, they didn't need to use that one, and oh, they didn't need to use this. These guys they're morons. They're snowflakes.
They're ruining it.
They're ruining it. And this is what I stand against. And I stand with you, and you should stand with me. And we should be creating a community here where the comments are supporting the show and asking questions. You should be able to make use of the knowledge that I have. And you can come in here and say, we've been wrong about this and we've been wrong about that. And you can spread this information. Actually, statistically, I've never been wrong since I started the show. If you run through it, do you still have the run through?
Yeah, I do. What you had said you got so far since doing it. I got it. You ready?
Yeah, you go. You do it. I'll
yeah, 2 merchandise reports. Woods winning the King of the Ring, which was said first, and then only said they're looking at Balor. You never said Balor's winning it, and then it was back to Woods. Zelina winning.
It was Woods again the week before, right? The week before. Yeah, it said they're back to Woods. You missed the reason behind Bray's release. That was right at the top.
Well, I'm going down the line here of what you have. Zelina winning the Queen of the Ring, as we call it. Crown Jewel results. McIntyre moving to SmackDown. Carmella, Apollo, Becky, and Seth to Raw. The finish of Reigns and Lesnar and the continuation of the feud. Woods feuding with Roman. and the fat contract with Becky Lynch, as quoted by Liv Morgan on Raw.
Yep. And then the Bray Wyatt one was at the top. You did forget to read it.
Did the Bray Wyatt one first? Yeah, there you go. The reason behind Bray Wyatt's release, and then it was the merchandise thing. So.
Yeah, and everybody obviously
with his mental stuff.
Yeah, and everybody took that as confirmed once Andrew Zarian reported it about 2 months after me. So the point is that these are the confirmed stories that have had a resolution and have been factually correct. So we are 100% on the show. So you can come on here and you can spread your misinformation and nonsense. But the fact is that we know that we are 100% on the show. And the people that asked us to be on the show, they're happy with what we do, and we are 100% on the show. That's it. Like, I spoke to Conan this week, and when I said to him, I don't want to do the YouTube show anymore, and he said to me, I'm not going to go into what he told me, but he told me to carry on doing it, and he told me to approach it in a certain way, to the point where we're doing this because I didn't want to do this, and I was talked back into doing it, and then we did a show, and we didn't want to put out that show because it didn't follow the guidelines of Conan. Additionally, just on a side note, I haven't even told you this. I actually reached out this week to a friend of mine. Do you know Russell Brand in the US?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so Russell Brand was a part presenter on My Big Brother, and I did a show with him regularly throughout the time when I was out of the house. So I texted him this week just because he posted out a thing saying that he was doing a show near me. So I asked him for a couple of tickets and said to him, I don't know how you deal with the you again, because he posted out for his thing where he was going to be. And underneath it was, no thanks, I'd rather cut off my all this kind of
I don't want piano lessons.
Exactly. So I said, how do you deal with this? And I got this reply from him, and this was the main reason why I decided to record the show.
So everybody go blame Russell Brand for Billy continuing the show.
It goes to me, hey, mate, hope you and the little un are well. That means my kid.
Austin.
Little un is an English thing. It's because I don't give the slightest about them. Who are they? Not one relevant or successful person sits on Facebook or YouTube spending their Thursday afternoon trolling videos. How many tickets do you need? So at this point, yeah, I mean, that for me is all I needed to hear, along with the conversation with Conan. So moving forward, we're going to be no selling that. But what we will do, I've spoken to Husey this week, and anybody that puts a timestamp out there, that damages my money because we are here to do the show, but we're also here to plug everything else we do. You put a timestamp there, you are insulting us, and you are stepping on the toes of the show that we've already been doing for years. This isn't a news show. This is a show that has news in it because I am the most credible source for news. That's a fact. You can put anything in there about hating me, hating my hair, hating my face, hating Cav, saying we've got personalities, saying that we're boring, saying that we're pieces of shit. Say what you want like that, but you will not be able to put a timestamp there saying when you think the show starts, because you will be blocked from all the K100, from the whole K100 channel, and any misinformation such as he got this wrong, he got that wrong, he said this, he said that. We know what we said. I know what I said. I've been wrong before. I've been wrong 7 times in 5 years, right? I know every single one of them. And one of them was last year's Royal Rumble, where it was supposed to be Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan in a triple threat match. And it was changed to Edge. And I didn't get the information. And that was the one story I had wrong in 18 months on Russo's show. And yeah, I had to come on and explain it. Luckily, I was the only guy in the whole of wrestling that had Daniel Bryan in the WrestleMania main event. So I think
that was months before too.
Yeah, so I think I balanced myself out. So at the end of the day, I'll come on and I'll acknowledge wrongdoing, wrong stories all of the time. But so far on this particular platform, there hasn't been a single one. So we're not going to stand for misinformation. And I'm somebody who's anti-snowflake. I'm for free speech. As I said, you can insult me, whatever you want, like racism, homophobia, go for it. I don't care. Like, I'm used to it. I've had it for 13 years in the public eye. So you can do whatever you want. That stuff bounces off me. But 14 years, sorry. But misinformation and cutting into my money and damaging my finances, we are not going to stand for that. And also, as I said, There is no the show starts here or the news starts here. This is a show. We've been on the day shoots for 5 years. Thousands of guys watch it, listen to it rather, and that's now been transferred over to the K100 platform. And you're lucky enough that you'll get some news that will all be right, sprinkled in on the show at whatever point I choose to do. This is my show. I'm the one in the seat. You are not in the seat. I was asked to do it, and I agreed to do it. And I am sitting here in the seat. You are not in the seat. You can go and do your own podcast. You can go and do your own YouTube channel to like 7 or 8 viewers that are going to watch you and the 10, 20 Twitter followers that you have. Go, by all means, go and do it. But you ain't in this seat. You haven't been chosen to get onto this platform. And bear in mind, this is how much credibility I have. This platform was already making money. Wrong or right, Cav?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Right? If you were making money or I was making money, would I let a stranger come in and take a percentage of the money I'm already making when they've done nothing to build up that fan base?
No, you got to bring something to the table to be able to give somebody money.
I have done nothing to contribute towards this fan base. I haven't made this brand a penny, right? I haven't contributed to the build up at all. And they brought me in and they're giving me a cut of what they make already. What the hell does that say about me? So that's it. Like I have been verified, authorized, and everything else that you need. I've been given the green light and everything to say what I want, do what I want, be who I want to be. And I've got that from the guy that runs the channel. And until I hear from Conan, who you are actually disrespecting when you say that you say in the comments, then I'll carry on being here. So that's it really. And it comes from a higher place than any of you guys. It comes from Conan, comes from Russell Brand, it comes from talking to Cav, and it comes from basically just applying common sense that I actually admit that I lost sight of at the start of the week, where I turned around and said, I ain't doing that show on YouTube. So that's the delay.
You know, the most insulting thing I've ever seen on a comment is that I'm anti-WWE and I'm just a shill for AEW. That's the most offensive thing ever, because just because I've started recently watching AEW and actually enjoying it, the people that don't know that I have a WWF tattoo since I was 18. I had that tattoo. I've been watching since I was like 7 years old or around there.
And me too. They say it about me. They say about these. I mean, look behind me. Like how?
Yeah, you're like way not into AEW. You have 50,000 more problems than I ever do with them. Like I feel they have a big fight. Feel like I'm actually anticipate when that show comes on. Like I miss the days of being, it's Monday, I got to go to work, but Raw's on tonight. I'm excited to have my dinner or whatever I'm going to have and watch Raw and be into it. And now, like, I've never still missed an episode. Like I don't miss any of the wrestling that comes on from WWE. I watch it all and I'm just not excited by it. Like SmackDown, I actually get excited to watch. And I had this discussion with you before that was always in my head. What if Roman got injured? Would SmackDown still be that to me? And this week, Roman wasn't on the show. And I was like, it did feel a little down for me. Brock was on, which helped it a little bit. It's like one or the other have to be on to be doing something. But
Brock was very good this week. I thought Brock was very good this week.
Yeah, Brock was good. Letting him talk now and stuff like that. So let's get into things. I'll tell people about my contest in mid-show if they want to win some wrestling signed merchandise.
Over on K100, we already did a lot of AW talk. I talk about what my issues are with AW. I mean, even with the terms of the Punk and MJF thing. I mean, and one thing I do say, and one thing I will say, like before we just move off that.
Give your prediction, by the way, that you had. This isn't news or fact. This was your prediction that we talked about last time about what was going to happen with MJF and Punk, and I really liked it, and I think that it might happen.
Oh, I think that they'll make Punk chase MJF. I think that Punk will cost him the ring this week against Dante Martin. I believe that that will piss off MJF and it will lead to a match. I believe MJF will win the first match, and then he'll make Punk go through Spears and Wardlow before he gets back to MJF and gets the win on pay-per-view.
You know, it's very interesting. I thought I talked to Russo this week, and I was talking to him about AEW, and I had said to him, because I had heard something Conan said from the show about Russo should try to get into AEW or talk to them about give me like Darker Elevation, one of those garbage shows, right?
That's what I said. How did Conan say it?
I saw it on YouTube. There was a mailbag with him and Disco talking.
All right, because we had a conversation the prior week, and despite the fact people think, me and Russo are absolutely hating each other or whatever, I said what AEW needs is they need a Vince Russo on the show to add certain segments to it so that we don't have these long matches where top guys need to go 20 minutes with longer guys. I think these matches need to be shortened. And in order to keep the attention span going, you need that car crash OCD TV, not OCD TV, sorry, attention deficit TV that Russo did. I feel like
ADD TV.
Was maybe 20 years ahead. Now, where you have the phones and you have the distractions that you have, and people find it more difficult to watch. This is where Russo could come in with a boom here, slot in here. Don't give him the television, what's out in the ring. Don't give him the top storyline or anything like that. Give him this guy, give him that high, give him the backstage segments, give him the small stories, give him the this girl is with this guy.
Something for everybody.
Yeah, but she's actually really like got a thing for this guy, that kind of stuff. Give him the soap opera element of the show to plug in those guys because you have overhired on your roster. That's what I said. I said that about Russo, and it's out there if anyone wants to find it. So
I was saying, doing the elevation in dark, right? And like Conan said when the clip that I heard, Tony should say, here, you have a year. Let's see what happens, right? And I asked Russo, I said, have you had any, contact or anything? But he had said when I was like, I felt that this is in my head only. I don't know for a fact or anything. That I felt AEW was more open for suggestions from the wrestlers. Like in my head, Punk and MJF are meeting with Tony and they're coming up with their own storyline. And Tony more or less is going, I like that. Let's just go with it. It's your guys' idea. It's great. Or maybe you add this because this is my idea. Stuff like that, right? But from what I hear is that Tony wants to write the whole thing and do the whole thing. So he's doing the power trip about it's all him. And I mean, this is only what I'm told, but I still don't believe that because I'm like, how is this better? Like, I just feel like the wrestlers are more creative control over there. And that's just an opinion, but
I didn't like the hometown thing with MJF this week. I think he should have turned on his hometown. I feel like you need to stay. I didn't like Punk being a heel in Long Island and MJF being a babyface.
But even though you know it's going to happen, I mean, regardless of however they presented it, he's still going to get cheered and Punk's going to get booed. Don't you think that would happen anyway?
You still stay true to character. He's done such a good job of maintaining that at autograph signings and in other places.
Yeah.
And they've got this off-camera thing where he's saying that Tony Khan's his best friend and thanking him and he's in the ring. And I'm not all for that. He's done so well to protect everything he's had. Is one of the best things about him. And then you do that. You did that this week. Everything else so far they've done. I mean, as I was about to say, and I said it on the K100 show, the best moments this year have come from AEW. With Punk returning, the MJF Punk thing, you had that moment where Bryan and Adam Cole returned at the same time. But the problem they have is this over-reliance on moments. Moments are so big. Instead of just having Punk and MJF say one thing each and then carry and save some for next week, they had the mic 2 times each, and then you did that for 30 minutes, right? And then you can't top that. And then you had Adam Cole return, and then Daniel Bryan returned, and people have blown their load, and you can't top that. It's like having the best sex ever all of the time. Like it's like
you can't.
It's not possible. So they have to balance things out. So it's always a big.
However, I do like that little bit of a thing though, because that is something that we don't get because we're too, used to WWE doing the one thing, right? So when the one thing happened, we thought it was done. If they did that every time and double people come, then you're really blowing your load.
Yeah.
But
the thing is,
that whole double was fantastic pop. It was like that was so unexpected.
It was, but how do you book? It's the booking afterwards in terms of the big come down. They don't keep it at the level. You have the consistency on SmackDown of Roman. It's 7.5 out of 10 every week, steady. It's the consistent way to keep people interested. Whereas AEW, you can miss weeks and come back to it. And all that's happened is people have added a few wins to their wins and losses.
So saying all this, now let's get to some of the things that happened this week. There was the biggest thing that happened was Jeff Hardy with some issues that went on. What do you know about this?
Yeah, so Jeff Hardy was moved over to SmackDown so that he could be looked after a little better, because you've got Michael Hayes over there. He's also got Roman Reigns, who wanted to work with him. Now, Roman Reigns is working through somewhat of a wish list of people with Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Rey Mysterio, people like that who he wants to work with. He's been able to work with everybody. Jeff Hardy was a guy he wanted to have a match with, and that was one of the reasons he was moved over. Secondary, he was moved over because of Michael Hayes being there, because Hardy has had some issues. So when people are talking about how this was a one-off incident, it wasn't. There was like a few health issues before, but they were health issues in terms of him being on painkillers and things of that nature. From what I understand, the word alcohol was not mentioned to me by anybody. So my understanding is that it wasn't alcohol related. Now, we've got these idiots on Twitter, or these fake news guys. Some of them are British. One of them is Brad Shepard, who is a guy that has absolutely zero credibility in the world. He's an absolute nobody who knows nobody. I don't understand how or why Bin Hameen has him on his network. But he was out there after Jeff Hardy was taken off the road at that weekend, saying that he's heard that Jeff Hardy's been drunk at autograph signings and he's had all these problems. And then when he got released, he was celebrating, going, "Oh, I told you so." Because I tweeted him going, "You're full of shit." He retweeted me when I told you so. It's like, dude, you told me nothing. Because there have been no autograph signings in the WWE. The only things they've been doing is they've been doing signings at SummerSlam, and one or two people have been going out for sponsors. The only other thing they've been doing is before the house shows and before TV, they have the platinum packages. There's two levels of these things. One is like the super VIP, which is $400. That means you meet 3 wrestlers before the show, you get a goodie bag, and you sit on the front row. And when you sit on the front row, you get to take your chair home. For $250 less, you get the whole same experience, except you sit on front row of the 100 section. So you're on row 1 of the 100 section. So you don't get the chair home and you're not in the front row. So for $150 less, you get that hard cam seat, but you still meet the 3 wrestlers before and you get the goodie bag. So they sell these packages for $250 and $400. My understanding is, looking at the schedule I was given, Jeff Hardy wasn't on any of those. So
when was side note, when was the last time you had really great seats? I'm thinking it was when we went to New Orleans and Drew gave us tickets. You've gone since, though, in England, right?
I get the same seats every time. I get those same seats every time.
Before that, I think the best seats I had were 5th row at Mania 13. I had one time tickets for front row at, I believe, Oakland Coliseum way back. And it was like, I think it was Hogan and Earthquake were fighting in the main event. And that's when main event was in the middle of the show. And we got there late because my buddy's father couldn't find the damn place, which is right off a highway, by the way. But I'm like, I would love to be front row again. I haven't had that in, I don't know, what was I, 14, 15 at the time when I had front row last. I would love to have front row one more time, just for, fun, S's and giggles. But
we're just marks like you guys, except we have we have jobs.
I got a life at the same time with as you see, TV's on pause because I had to pause the TV because I go, watch, YouTube will block it because it's showing what's on actual TV. They'll block you, so I had to make sure to put it on pause over here.
The Bucks are up by 7 and it's 1st and goal.
One of these days, I got to show everybody this room as a treat almost, and because I have 6 TVs, actually 7. There's one behind me, but that's not hooked up to a cable. That's just apps. But that's all for football season. And so I have everything in this room going on with all the games at once so I could watch, because nothing's better than football, even though I'm wearing a hockey jersey, but I decided to mix it up. There's some contract offers.
I haven't finished with that. Just give me the last part of that. In that sense, the release surprised me due to that issue, because there's another story out there. We didn't talk about this the other day. So I talked about Brad Shepard and his and talked about how Jeff hadn't been on those VIP signings, the 400 or the 250 signings that happened before the show. There's also JD from New York who's saying that Jeff Hardy pretended he'd gone back to drinking to get his release to AEW.
That would be brilliant.
Right. The problem with that is that this guy was about to receive and was on the midst of his biggest push that he's had in how long has it been? 2009.
A decade?
12 years ago. So he was about, they were looking, and it was on hold because of the few problems he had on Raw. So they were looking at Jeff Hardy, but they didn't want to commit to the marketing for Willow. Now there was a plan in place to bring back Willow. Perhaps this would have been executed quicker had they not had these problems with the video game that I spoke about. Had they not had these problems with Mattel, because they're already having issues with Mattel with loads of figure lines coming out with the wrestlers no longer being in the company. So this Willow figure would have come out in July 2022, and Jeff Hardy wouldn't have been there. So they had to hold back on this. But the idea was for Willow to feud with Roman Reigns on the road to WrestleMania. Now, this is the in-between program between Rumble and Mania. That was the idea. So that is complete when you're saying that Jeff Hardy was released because they had nothing for him, or they didn't care about him, or even worse, he deliberately tried to get himself into AEW. What? So he can go and stand next to Darby Allin and feud with his brother. Like, absolute nonsense.
So going on with the contract negotiations with a couple guys from NXT.
Yeah, so very, very quick one. Johnny Gargano has a decent offer from WWE to go back. It is a main roster valued contract, and Kyle O'Reilly has an NXT offer. If I was to guess, I would say Gargano takes that offer and O'Reilly ends up doing the AEW thing with Adam Cole and Bobby Fish. With Gargano, they see him as a Daniel Bryan, but that's not at the WWE champion level that Bryan got to, in New Orleans and whatnot. It's at the real B-plus player level. Now, B-plus player was never a backstage term that was real, but I'm talking about a good underdog, a solid worker who can have matches with people and is a good hand to have on the card. That's how they look at Gargano. You might not, and some people may think he's better than that. I sit somewhere in the middle. I think their valuation and estimation of Gargano is correct. And Stephanie McMahon is a big fan. Triple H is a big fan, even though he's not there at the moment. And I would say Gargano eventually does take that offer, especially with the fact that they're paying his wife at the moment. He's pregnant. They're looking after him. There's no heat between Gargano and the WWE. Not that
and that's
heat.
His dream place anyway. He grew up, major fan and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like I said, this is not me saying where Gargano's going to go. This is me saying, and listen to the story properly. It's one has one contract offer for one place. One has one contract offer for the other. One is an NXT offer, NXT style offer with NXT style money, and Gargano is main roster money. So that's where we're at with that.
Okay. Real quick, if people want to win any signed merchandise, we're giving our giveaway for people who are on my Patreon, and it only costs you $5. And I do multiple wrestling review shows. There's one for AEW, one for WWE. When there's a pay-per-view, there is then 3 reviews in a week, and you get my main show. And that's all for $5. If you want video and all the other shows that we do, little side shows, video game shows, all that stuff, that's in the Godfather Plus tier. But for $5, you will be in a drawing. It is an app on my phone called Random. It's on iPhone. It will be on video. Everyone who is on my Patreon for at least the $5, their name will be on the spin the wheel. The Thursday before Christmas will be the first drawing for the number 11 prize. Now, if you want to see what that number 11 prize is, go to @LingusMafia on Twitter. You will see the pinned tweet. I have the list of all the prizes that go along the way. In January, we'll then give away the number 10. After that, it goes by however many people sign up. We're trying to get to 100 for that tier. When you get to 100, it's a signed autograph of Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan. And anyone who's won prior is back in the hat for that final prize. If you win...
say that is coming from a real autograph dealer in your area, right? It's a guy who is it's a guy that put us in contact with Bret Hart. So, and I am not going to put any crap up on my wall, and I'm desperate for that turnbuckle, which is now signed by Bret Hart, and I know it's legit, and I know all this stuff is legit. So I'm also after the Andre, but if I end up with that, I think there'll be a riot if it ends up.
There would be a riot, I believe. Yeah, it would look too planned, and that'd be our nightmare. But the only things without stickers that say authentic are the ones that I got signed in person. Like I have one magazine signed by Bret Hart that I went in person and had multiple magazines signed. So that's one.
You got my Ricky Steamboat.
I have the Ricky Steamboat action figure that I actually won from Billy's Royal Rumble pool. I was third place, and I got Ricky the Dragon. So that's in there. That is a signed autograph as well. But we have 8x10 signed, card signed.
Well,
there you go.
There's that one being signed. So
yeah, 8x10s of with all this stuff. An actual WWF turnbuckle. Guy has them from a warehouse that a guy I know can get. So we got that in there. That's one of the prizes. But 8x10 of Rock signed, 8x10 of Austin signed. The big packages are, there is a wrestling boot signed by Ric Flair. There is a pair of Hitman trunks signed by Bret Hart. Those kind of things. So just go at Lingus Mafia, check it out. And also on my main feed, Lingus Mafia, or even Billy's feed, Dirty Sheets, I give like the first 15 minutes of all my wrestling review shows. They're on there each week, AEW, WWE. So you get a taste of how my review is, because it's not a normal, this is what happened, and it's hammering punchline to punchline. So it's more of a comedy thing, busting balls. But
the finish came at 18 minutes and 26 seconds into the match.
Yeah, I don't do this Joe, who's a... That's the first time I swore on this show. Yeah, whatever his name is. I can't stand the guy. He had everyone blocked who followed me because he was scared I was sending people to tweet him. It's amazing. I asked the girlfriend, I said, hey, are you blocked by this guy? She didn't even go on Twitter. She goes, yeah, I'm blocked by them. I'm like, I was laughing my ass off. I'm like, pathetic, because that is a pathetic show that makes $1 billion on their Patreon, which is a joke. Smart Wrestling Nerd. That's what that one is. And if you don't believe it, go take a listen to my show. If you think it sucks, God bless you. That's your opinion. But I'm telling you, I put anything on the line that you think my show is one of the best wrestling review shows there is. Rhea Ripley.
Fan, if you can see Mutant Larry, come and do a podcast with us.
Yeah, there's certain people I enjoy. And the only reason I don't like what's his name?
Negron.
His name is racist, though, for God's sake, Negron. That's a horrible thing to say.
Means something, and it's all going to get bleeped anyway. So
it's a proper term for black. What are you talking about? That's not a racist thing.
Hey, you're not in Spain.
It's a normal term. What are you talking? You're out of your mind.
It's black in Spanish. It's on like a crayon. If you buy
it's
crayon,
Spanish for black, right?
Crayon now, it says black noir on it. Like it's still to this day.
Well, I'm not meaning it in a racist way. That's for sure. I practically can't remember the guy's name.
They're going to call us racist anyway. So,
oh, for God's sake!
Remember last week when we were reading out a story?
Yeah, we're reading a story, and people are like, "If they say the N-word any more times," they go like this when they say it too. If they say the N-word any more times, and it's like we're reading a report. We're not just screaming the N-word, you maniac. Rhea Ripley news, brother. What do we got on this? And I still say, I'm like, remember I said I thought she was a poser? Remember I said that? Because I was
yeah. Oh, you're spot on.
She came in looking, like they say, like Charlotte Flair. Long, beautiful hair. She was really good looking girl. And I'm like, then it was, here, we need you to do this gimmick. But the only thing that makes me go, well, maybe it was in her the whole time is all the tattoos. Because you're not going to just get tattoos to, I need this gimmick.
I got tattoos. I don't have my dick.
But I mean, not to go, well, I'm not into this lifestyle, but my character is, so I'm going to get tattoos. I don't see someone doing that to themselves.
No, but I know a lot of girls with tattoos, but they don't cut their hair like a...
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when she has her hair a certain style, I dig it.
But the story first before this makes sense. So this makes sense.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear the story.
Add some context to this. So, Rhea Ripley wants out of the WWE. She's very unhappy. She's fed up with this gimmick. She doesn't feel like it's being done properly. Therefore, she doesn't feel like it's worth cutting her hair. And the hair is honestly, ridiculously, the main part of the story. But I can understand that because I, too, am attached to my hair. And if I had to cut it for anything, I would really want a good explanation for it. So she doesn't understand why she's cutting her hair when this Rhea Ripley is far away from the NXT Rhea Ripley. Now, what's interesting here is you have Steve Austin always talking about how these guys don't speak up and how they need to fight for their cause Well, she does that, and she's done that a lot because she's a very vocal person, and she's been de-pushed many, many, many times. She was supposed to get this, she was supposed to get that, and she hasn't had it. So this is probably why you now see her running around for the 24/7 title and looking for that stupid egg, which is what she's been reduced to.
Yeah, when I saw that, I said, ooh, value has dropped. She's searching for the egg.
Right, but here's the interesting thing. The value has dropped, so why don't they let her go? If she wants to go, why don't they let her go? The thing is that I'm told any man, with the exception of your Romans, Takers, and Ortons, can actually request a release and go. But it's very, very different for the women. Over the last few years, they've denied Liv Morgan and Sasha Banks, and they've denied Charlotte her request to take 1 year off. Now, again, guys are on here misquoting me, saying it's a full-on release she asked for. No, she asked for a 1 year sabbatical where she would have her contract frozen, and she wanted to work on behalf of the WWE in Mexico and Japan. Basically, she wanted to go on holiday with her boyfriend for a year, working dates in Mexico. They're no longer together, by the way, in case somebody wants to point out, oh, he doesn't even know. I do know, but this is an old story.
Yeah, Billy's trying to get a date, I think, too.
Oh, why not?
That's the Billy's pinup girl, like Sherry Martel.
Oh, it's not my pinup girl. I tell you, it's becoming a pinup girl. Tony Storm. Like, a lot of guys are complaining that, oh, what's Vince done to her? She doesn't look like Tony Storm. And also, oh, you know,
how does she not look like Tony Storm? What is different?
I tell you what, we didn't add to the list.
The weight loss.
The weight loss.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but look at Tony Storm now and look at her before I said it.
Yeah.
How am I guessing that somebody is going to lose 15, 20 pounds?
Yeah. And you can really tell the difference. It's not like it's in her gut, but it was all legs and ass.
Right.
That's where you completely see the difference is legs and ass.
Let me tell you, when someone disappears off TV and I tell you they're off losing weight and they come back thinner, that means that might mean I actually know what I'm talking about.
Hard to dispute that, yeah.
It's pretty concrete. So getting back to my point, these women are not being granted releases, and in Liv Morgan's case, they're trying to get her to sign a new deal. The reason behind that is WWE don't have any respect for the AEW women's division, and what they don't want to do is put a marketable asset into their women's division. Now, they look at the AEW men's division, and as far as they're concerned, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, and Dean Ambrose, now Jon Moxley, are the assets. And they believe they're assets because they benefited from WWE's marketing, and WWE put them on their television and on all of their marketing platforms, on their social media, etc. That's what they really believe. So they believe that they don't want to lose a Charlotte Flair, a Sasha Banks, a Liv Morgan, a Rhea Ripley, or even a Ronda Rousey, who's still being paid to sit at home. A Ronda Rousey's being paid more every year than Ruby Riott got for coming to work. So put that into perspective. So they didn't want to lose anybody like that. And I'm even surprised they even let Lana go, because for me, she's a very recognizable WWE asset. But this is the situation. They don't have respect for AEW. There's no scenario where the women at WWE are going, oh, I really want to go over there and I want to have a match with Shida, or especially Britt Baker. There's no respect for Britt Baker at all. There's no Charlotte Flair, Britt Baker dream match, Sasha Britt Baker dream match. That's not how WWE see it. That's not how the women see it. So when people are talking about, oh, this woman wants to go AEW, this woman wants to go AEW, that's just not the case. So this is why they're working extra hard to keep the women here and not making so much effort with the men. So that's the second to last story as we move on to the last.
Yeah, the last one we're going to be talking about Brock's situation when it comes to Mania and other things involved.
Yeah, so I mean, I got some tweets this week. I know you guys are dying for me to be wrong, to lose that.
And I don't know why anybody would be rooting for that. It's almost like when somebody becomes president, either side. I even if I don't vote for whoever, I'm hoping they're the greatest thing that has ever happened to my country, because it does me no good to go, see, I told, what the hell do I want that for? I want to be right to say something fell apart. So I would want all this information from you, Bill. I would want this all to be 100% all the time and know this is my go-to. And it's free to listen to on this YouTube. So I don't get it, but hey, listen, to each their own. Good.
100% so far, but see, people seem to think this this Brock and Roman Mania situation won't be. But here's what's happening. The Brock situation from Romania remains unchanged. Nick Khan is in charge of the concept. He wants it to be the first event of 2022, and he wants to go with the biggest match possible. Now, initially, and this is an extra bit of information I have between the show we recorded and now. Initially, the main event for this show, you want to know what it was? 6-man tag. 6-man tag between, get the teams, Roman Reigns and the Usos versus the Viking Raiders and Brock Lesnar.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Yikes. I mean, it's Raw. Other than Brock, having a match or whatever.
It's a whole Vikings team versus the Samoans team. That's the idea. God.
I didn't.
You know who didn't want to do it?
Everyone, except the Viking Raiders. They're begging to do it. Brock?
Yep, Brock.
How did I guess that?
And this was agreed upon by Nick Khan. So obviously, with this being shoehorned in, it's very, very unlikely this will have a finish. Now, what you could do is you could have no finish here and then do the rematch, the final match at the Rumble, and then you can shoehorn Goldberg or Drew McIntyre into Mania. Or you can have one of Goldberg or McIntyre have the Rumble match and have Brock Lesnar win the Royal Rumble. I think they're going to be going with the latter. That is my understanding at the moment, that Brock Lesnar is going to get the Mania match. My understanding is not 100% that he's going to win the Rumble, because I don't know that information yet. But I do know that they know who the SmackDown challenger is going to be, and they're not so sure what they're doing over on Raw. Even to the point that they don't even know if Big E's carrying the belt into Mania for Raw.
We still have yet to get the Goldberg Roman thing, because that was pandemic canceled.
That'll be in Saudi. I think after Mania, if Roman still has the belt, I think you get that in Saudi. Or if Roman drops the belt and gets it back at SummerSlam, if we break this reign up, if we go to Brock and back to Roman, then you get this at the next Saudi show. Because Goldberg's contract with the WWE has one match left, and the Saudi matches are paid.
I thought he already had that one match. It was one more?
Well, the Saudi doesn't count because it's paid independently.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, because that's what people will say something. So, okay.
Saudi pay out the seven figures to Brock and Goldberg on their own.
Jeez, that's insane. And I don't mind.
Undertaker got $1 million to go over to Saudi to do something that wasn't even for the wrestling. I think he was introducing who was it? Was it not Flo Rida? Can't remember. Someone the day before. He was introducing a singer.
You imagine?
No,
you'd have to pay me $1 million to fly to Saudi. That's for sure, though, too. I don't mind Goldberg being out there. I know people have a hard on about it, and I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I don't have a problem with it. He's in great shape. He still looks the same, other than a gray beard. But he's slimmed down more, but he's not some out of shape guy. He can still do what he has to do. He was
his last match was his best one.
It's just a quick thing anyway with him anyway. It's not like he's having some technical go. If he had to do a Shawn Michaels match, if Shawn Michaels had to do stuff, you saw what happened after all that layoff. But I don't have a problem with Goldberg out there. It's some nostalgia stuff. You go, okay, that's fine. I don't need full time, all that kind of stuff. And even if, I know Undertaker is completely, missteps now and stuff, but I still don't mind. Hey, show up once. I always think you could get yourself together for a one-shot deal, like always do Mania until, you really can't. Because we know Flair wants to wrestle still, for God's sake. You know how people don't want to see it? I would like to see it, Billy. I might have to see this, because do you not look at a car crash when you pass by?
I would still pay. I would find a way to fake being vaccinated, and I would try and get to the US to see Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan now.
True.
And I've seen the shape Hogan's in at the moment.
Hogan with a cane and everything. Yeah. I was more bothered by that picture he took with the fan inside Walgreens or Longs or wherever the hell it was.
Walgreens. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I was more horrified, not from him wearing a cane, but him wearing his own T-shirt walking around town.
Oh, he always does that. I've seen him, but I've seen him before, in pictures with NWO T-shirts in the airport and everything.
What was even worse is you would see things in the airport where he would wear red spandex, cowboy boots, and the Hulkamania T-shirt or Ripaway shirt in an airport walking around, and it's like, oh man, come on, you're the most recognizable anyway. Come on, dude. You don't know that. movie
tell me
premieres,
Bret
he's
Hart-
wearing that too.
If Bret Hart's not putting on his Hitman sunglasses when he's walking around,
At least those are cool sunglasses to wear out and about. I used to wear those out and about.
I'd be disappointed if he's not wearing his pink sunglasses.
Oh man! All right, so that's it, right? We're done. That's all we got for the end of this show. We're out of here at 45 minutes.
We are. I'm over at lockbetting.com. I'm making a ridiculous amount of money for people. This is my hottest start to the month. I'm sitting here now, and I'm also getting all the afternoon games right.
The Bucks just scored again.
Yeah, I got Tampa -3. They're well up after sweeping the morning slate 7-0. So I'm winning money in the NFL. I'm killing it in soccer. Killing it in the NBA every single day. So if you want to sign up for my picks, head over to lockbetting.com. I have 102 months of profit in a row. That's track profit. There's spreadsheets for everything. I use Patreon. You know what snowflakes are like. A lot of you watching this, you are snowflakes. And if I tried to lie, if I put my spreadsheet out and there was something on there that wasn't true, if I took plays away that lost, or I added winning plays that I didn't really post out, you know that some kind of snowflake, some kind of obsessive would pick up on it. So you can't get away with that. So when I say I've made money for 102 months, when I say I haven't lost for 8 years, a single month, that is a 100% transparent track fact. So if you want to make that money, head over to lockbetting.com. Also check us out over on the Dirty Sheets. We haven't done a podcast together for a while, but we are definitely going to do one this week, and we're going to do our usual Christmas special. I'm making Cav do that, and that's why I've said
I
it.
Completely forgot about those Christmas specials.
It has to, yeah. Christmas special and the year-end awards are our best shows of the year.
Well,
so,
Wednesdays I devote to you, so better get this in by Wednesday because I have obligations. Damn it.
Yeah. So in a week's time, check out our Dirty Sheets Facebook page where you'll be able to vote on the year-end awards. So yeah, that's everything I want to say.
Yeah, like I said, check out my @Lingus Mafia. See the pin tweet if you want to get in on all the prize packages. And I appreciate anybody who takes the time to actually go listen to some of my shows @Lingus Mafia on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever, or over on Dirty. I'm trying to get people to go over more to the Lingus Mafia one and not burden Billy's page by putting my show there all the time. But he has a larger audience to follow, and I have no shame to say that the man was on television and has been doing this a longer time. Now you're actually getting to see my ugly face on this. I'm like a tree in the woods. I've been doing this for about 10 years and trying to make somebody hear me.
I don't think we're ugly enough. I think that's the problem. I think they want an ugly,
unrelatable.
Yeah, exactly. They want wrestling fans who are ugly, bold, fat, smelly. Like that's who you want. That's who you want to get your news from. You don't want it from us. I understand that.
Yeah. So and Billy's bold prediction about the Bears winning outright tonight, fantastic. All your money on it right now. Billy, you'll kill yourself if the Bears win.
That game will be already played. So we're not done too badly. With 13 minutes over our target finishing time. So we're going to try and eat into this next week.
All right. I appreciate you guys all watching and listening, and look forward to, if you have questions for Billy, put them down at the bottom. He checks it, and he could answer your question. We'd have that as a segment added to it if you guys like. If you have questions about certain things that aren't even talked about, but you hear rumors about, put it in the comments below. Billy could check with his sources, see if there's any validity to it, see if they heard any of it. We could talk about mailbag.
Just don't be a loser. Like, utilize this channel properly. Like, make this an actual community. Like, we're not dorks, we're not marks, we're not snowflakes, we're not crybabies. Like, this
is the more quote unquote rebel channel when it comes to wrestling news. It's not the soft stuff that you see out there where everyone wants to be friendly and they want to get in with WWE, so they never say anything negative. Come on.
Look at Conan. Look at the career he had. Look who Conan is. Like, this is a rebel channel.
Pair of balls.
Exactly. This is where you should be able to say whatever you want to say, ask whatever you want to ask. As I said, I got no issue with the banter or the insults or anything like that. But from this moment forward, as I said, just to repeat, misinformation, like if you're making up that he got this wrong or he said this or he said that, like particularly that Xavier Woods stuff that you're all obsessed by. Clearly, you guys missed the show where I said, oh, they've gone back to him winning it because Roman needs opponents. And what happened? He won it. And he faced Roman Reigns. Like, it's clear cut. Absolutely.
And a lot of times like, I mean, everybody with their hero, Dave Meltzer, when he says, plans have changed, people take that for what it is. And nowadays, it's not the 80s where they had a year long where they knew what was going to happen. So with this goofy organization, it is always changing. The only thing you got to do, Billy, now is get some inside friends over at AEW so you get their news too.
Okay.
You gotta find some people over there, which I got a suggestion for you about how to get somebody over there, but I'll talk to you that off camera. For Mr. Billy Body, I'm Cav Manning, and we will see you next time.